Hey guys, it's Diana, otherwise known as Dianka Pores, and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today, I'm going to take you on my journey in creating this painting right here. This piece was quite the journey because it did give me a lot of challenges, and as you know, working with epoxy resin is a dance, and so it's either you control the resin controls you, or a balance of both. And in this case, the resin really took the reins, and so I was trying to still create a beautiful painting out of it. This isn't a tutorial. If you would like a step-by-step course, I have a geode course where I teach how to create paintings similar to this one, or if you're just a beginner, I have a course for you. And I also have an ocean course for anybody that is interested in creating ocean-inspired resin art. All of that is in the description below. Now, if you're new here, you might have noticed this wall behind me. I am not only a resin artist, but I also supply pigments and glitters and pigment paste for resin artists alike. I'm going to show you which of my pigments I used for this painting. Feel free to go to diankapores.com to purchase the same colors or browse the selection that I have. I have so many pigments to choose from. I think you're going to love all of them. For today's painting, my client asked for a teal painting, which is wonderful because I have teal that's included in my ocean pigment paste set. These are very versatile. You don't need to use them just for ocean paintings. You can use them for virtually any epoxy resin artwork. I love working with this teal color because I custom made this myself, and I made it a perfect blend between blues and greens, and I made sure that this was going to be the most perfect teal to work with. The next color that I'm using is my Excellence White, which is wonderful for lacing if you're doing ocean work, but if you just want a white that doesn't shimmer like mica powder does in your artwork, this is the one to go. I called it Excellence White because it does create beautiful cells, but it is a game changer for geodes as well. The next color I used is my Royal White. This color is a creamy off-white color, which I love to pair with my Excellence White so these two can have a little bit of a contrast. I also used Quartz White, which is undeniably beautiful. It has so much shimmer in there, and I actually mixed it into my Royal White to give my Royal White some sparkle, and you can see that glitter in there. And of course, you can't make a geode painting without any floating pigments. And so the floating pigment that I chose to use today is my Antique Gold. This is my brightest gold of my entire collection, and if you want to compare it to the others, you can see how Antique Gold compares to Rustic Gold, Egyptian Bronze, and Rose Gold. And then what I did for people who didn't want the brightness of those colors, I took that same color and toned it down a little for Pale Antique Gold, Pale Rustic Gold, and Pale Bronze. This is just sterling silver for anyone who wants to create a geode or painting with silver instead of gold. What I did with these golds is I created glitter that matches the same color as the gold. So when I'm working with Antique Float to the Top Gold, I will also use Antique Gold glitter. And for this project, I wanted to use Antique Gold glitter in fine and Antique Gold glitter in chunky. I also have the glitter blended with many different sizes in there, which is absolutely beautiful, but I'm not using it for this project. This selection right here is all that I used in this painting, and it might seem a little underwhelming, but I believe that less is more, and so I'm going to make that teal stand out just because it's on its own, and I want to make it the star of the show. Before we get started, I want to show you an awesome new addition that I have to my office space, which is this table right here. It is an adjustable table that has a motor, so you can lift it if you want to work at it standing up, or lower it if you want to sit down. This desk is super awesome because I'm always going from sitting down to walking around and getting pigments and standing and sitting, so it's really great for being able to change the height of my workspace. But also, if you are an artist, which I assume that most of you are if you're watching this video, I would love to somehow incorporate this table in my workspace in my studio so I can have my paintings on this table and adjust the height so when I pour my artwork, I'm not breaking my back bending forward to try and work on my art. Because all of us artists know that working on art is back-breaking work. So if we could adjust our tables to the best height for us, that is going to be a game changer. Another awesome thing about this desk is that it has settings that you can program and have the desk go to the height that you programmed immediately. So you don't have to stand there and finick with the buttons. You can just select a button and it'll go directly to the height that you had set it at. This desk is available on my Amazon link in the description below. It is called FLEXISPOT. Go to the description, click that link, and it'll take you directly to this table. You have a ton of different sizes to choose from, different styles, different colors, and I think you're really gonna love it. And now for the rest of the video, I'm going to take you along my journey in creating this painting. I've got my painting sanded and primed, and I even have my sketch. Last time it was on my iPad, and today it's on the St. Jude's little notepad. So, you know, we're working with what we got. I was trying to think of ways to make this creative. Oftentimes my designs kind of just choose two corners, but I wanted to do something a little different where the design actually carries up through and kind of further down and have it to be thinner rather than go into the painting. So I think I'm gonna go with this one. That one was a complete fail. I was even thinking about switching my panel to be a diamond, but I don't want to surprise my client with something completely out of the ballpark of what she asked for. So we're gonna stay with the square. The diamond might be something I do just for fun. But now I'm gonna lay down my Celestial Fireglass in the colors Diamond Starlight Clear and Diamond Starlight Reflective. When I started working, I pulled out all the blue and the green toned mica powder, but I ended up just going with the teal pigment paste. And you can see right here that I didn't even use a lot. These pastes are specifically designed to be extremely concentrated and pigmented, so a little bit goes a long way. That's the beautiful thing about pastes, is that they will last you a very long time. I wanted to pop in for a quick second and say that if you are enjoying this pouring process and want to learn how to create resin art, I have a course available to you. It's specifically designed for beginners who don't know where to start and want to gain more knowledge about how to work with epoxy resin. And I also have courses for those who want to learn how to create geodes similar to this one. They're all pre-recorded, so once you place an order, they're immediately available to you to start watching and learning on the spot. I checked on the painting today, and I am a little bit disappointed on how my table wasn't leveled and all the resin kind of pulled into that direction. So I don't really like how this is such a harsh curve and how there's a long line here and it just separates kind of in the upper half of the painting and how this pulled out. And I'm letting you know because I do want to tell you the reality of resin art sometimes, which is it doesn't turn out how you want it to go, and even I have to start over. A lot of times I see comments of people saying that I make it look so easy. Well, this is the part that you don't see, which is me starting over and trying again. So I'm gonna cover this up, no harm, no foul. It is a little bit more costly because you do end up using more epoxy, but I wanna be 100% satisfied with what I create. So I'm gonna redo this and try again. And of course, we've encountered yet another problem, which is oil contamination in our resin, which is actually the biggest thing that you want to try and avoid. I have no idea how this happened, but here you see me trying to desperately save the painting and the oil from spreading even further, but alas, there wasn't much that I could do. So this is what it has turned into. Oh my goodness, what an absolute disaster. This is the cause of oil contamination, and I have no idea how that happened, but my only choice is to either fix this area right here or pour this all over again, which I really don't want to do for a third time. So I think I'm just going to sand this down, clean it with some Dawn dish soap, try and get rid of the oil, prime it with some paint again. Maybe that'll help, and just pour this section over again. Wish me luck. I'm gonna sand this and see what I can salvage from this. While we're all here, I do want to tell you guys about my eco sticks that I have on my website. These are special because they're sticks that you can reuse over and over again. The fact that they're able to bend makes it easy to pop off the resin and reuse them, as opposed to using wooden sticks. Those are kind of like a one-time, two-time use thing, but these you can reuse over and over, and it helps with reducing waste. I get a lot of questions asking me how I get my glitter lines to stay put and not spread out. The answer is by using a lot of glitter. It's quite simple, and very little resin. You can see here that my ratio is very off. It's probably like 7 parts glitter to 3 parts resin. You really don't need a lot of resin for this. You want it to be super, super thick. That way it doesn't spread out. I also came up with this syringe technique that helps me lay down my glitter lines in a more precise manner. I didn't like how difficult it was to do it without any sort of applicator. Just using my stick, it kind of made my glitter lines super messy, but this helps a lot in terms of getting precise lines. You could also just use a piping bag or different kind of bottles that have a tip where you can dispense the glitter. I found this to be my favorite technique. I decided to add this quartz cluster right here in the center of the painting, and in order to balance it, I had to find another space to put it.
Right here would be a viable space because there is a lot of room here, but I don't like how close they are in proximity. And in order to create balance, I do want to place it in another spot on the canvas. My goal isn't symmetry, it's balance. So in order to have it not appear too top heavy or bottom heavy, I placed it in a similar height or latitude as the other crystals, and in order to preserve the balance, I did place it a little further away, which would then prevent your focus from being drawn to one specific area. If you're an artist and you also use glass as your textured area for your geodes, I want to put you on something, and that is my glitter glass. This glitter glass is meant to be sifted over your glass areas, and what it does is it reflects and bounces off light to make your drusies look super sparkly. This right here is the before, and this is the after. It completely transforms this area, and honestly, it's a staple in all of my geode work. I don't think I would ever create a painting without it anymore. It's one of those things that you just can't go back on. It's called glitter glass, and it's available on my website. Oh, and these little diamond-looking things that I'm placing right here are called tiny drizzle cubic zirconia, which I also carry on my website. I like to place them in between my quartz crystals because what the cubic zirconia do is they refract light. So the glitter glass reflects it, the cubic zirconia refracts it, and so you get this little rainbow in between your quartz crystals, which I think is really beautiful. Something really cool about the floating gold that I carry is that they're really special and a little bit different from the mica powder because they have these tiny particles where if you apply heat, just like I did right now, these particles float to the top and they create this super reflective gold effect. And so whenever I use this powder and I paint with it, I make sure to add some heat at the end, or if I'm adding the powder into my resin, I also remember to add some heat in order to get those particles to rise and float to the top and start reflecting this very, very beautiful, vibrant gold. That is about it for today's video. I hope you guys liked it. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope you learned something. Comment if you learned something from today. I would love to know what information was valuable to you. Follow me on Instagram at Dianka. Let's connect. Let's be friends. I love meeting new people. Check out my website, diankapores.com, for pigments and glitters and pastes and courses, all things necessary to start in your resin journey. And yeah, I wish you guys happy arting. I hope you have a wonderful end of the summer, go outside, spend some time with family, friends, and most importantly, check in with yourself. I hope you're doing well. Love you. See you soon.